You have no relationship. Your family's a mess. You've got no friends. You've got no plan. You've got no job. You use your time outside of work not only badly but destructively. You have a drug or alcohol habit or some other vice, pornography addiction. You are completely unengaged in the surrounding community. You have no scaffolding whatsoever to support you in your current mode of being or you move forward. You have a terrible life. Well, let's pick a front. You scale back the dragon till you find one that's conquerable, that moves you forward. There's a rubric for life. Scale back the dragons till you find one conquerable, and it'll give you a little bit of gold. So once you start the ball rolling, it can get zipping along pretty good.
I need you to confront you. I need you to look in the mirror and tell you, you are not gonna do me like this no more. You're not gonna keep procrastinating. You're not gonna keep thinking like that. I need you. You're not. You're not gonna continue to sabotage me. You're not. I get frustrated with humans when somebody's late and they upset. I get frustrated with humans when somebody borrows money for you and you don't pay it back and you upset. I get upset with humans when you go out to eat and they don't bring your food out the way you want your food out and you are so upset and you let them have it, but then you disappoint you when you don't let you have it. You give you a pass. You give you a pass.
This is a really uncomfortable, difficult question to ask, but it is the best question you can ask yourself. If every time something goes wrong or something doesn't work out, instead of blaming someone else or blaming yourself, if you can pause and say, what part of this am I responsible for? Let me focus on what skill I'm missing. Let me focus on what growth I haven't had. Let me focus on what part of my life feels incomplete that makes me act in my incomplete way with others. And so now I've realized that whatever you want from someone else, give it to yourself first. If you want compliments from someone else, give them to yourself first. If you want validation from someone else, give it to yourself first. Because no matter how many of them they give you, if you never gave it to yourself in the first place, it will never be enough.
Once you have a fear that you might be wrong, but you have still the audaciousness and courage to go forward, you're a lot smarter than the person who thinks they know. There's a quote that Jefferson said, "He who knows he knows not is closer to the truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods." And so when you know that, and then with your character and your determination, you go forward. The smartest people I know are the most humble. The more you learn, the more you realize, oh, I'm eager to take in. So that's right. And I would say that there are many people who can plan for a simple lifestyle that can be wonderful. Sometimes we acquire these needs that aren't anywhere near as big as we make them out to be. Do you have a bed to sleep in? Do you have food to eat? Do you have basic health care? Okay, if you start to think, okay, what are my needs that I really need and I'm okay? And how can I make provisions for those needs? Then once you've got that in your mind, you're free.
It's not that difficult, really, to step out of the stream of thinking. One way, of course, is meditation. The traditional approach is you have certain periods of time, once or twice a day, when you sit down, close your eyes, and instead of involuntarily being drawn into the continuous stream of thinking, you usually, with meditation, you have a technique or method. You focus your attention on one thing, which could be a mantra that you repeat. It could be your breathing. It's a very ancient meditation. It could be the inner feeling in your body, the sense of aliveness that pervades your body. In other words, you take attention away from thinking, and that's already a great realization that you actually have a choice of directing attention. You don't have to go with your attention all the time where the habitual thought patterns want you to go. The habitual thought patterns want your attention every time. Every thought says, I matter, give me your attention, follow me, they go this way. And another negative thought, and another one, and another one.
inside, you are the one who's closing your heart. You close it. You are the one who's closing your mind. You do that. They're your thoughts. It's your feelings. They're nobody else's. So you are in there doing these things. So if I tell you the way to stay open is to not close, I don't teach how to stay open. That's more like finding out how to get what you want. I'm interested in you learning to not close. But a difference. If I say to you, I want you to open your heart right now, you wouldn't even know how to start. But if I say to you, somebody says something you don't like, don't close, you know where to start, right? Because it's happening inside of you and you see the tendency to do it. All I'm asking you to do is don't do that. And I'm telling you, that will take you the whole way. Don't worry about opening. Worry about not closing. There are going to be events that unfold in your life that naturally open you. A beautiful sunset, a bird singing. Sometimes you get what your mind wants, all right? You open. Great. Nothing wrong with that. Don't close. How come it only lasts a minute? How can you see a beautiful sunset? You feel like, oh my God, I looked into the face of God. Then you go right back into your mind with all your problems. Why? Why don't you learn to not close? Once you get some openness, start to work with yourself to not close. And this is how to get what you really want. The deep spiritual teachings are really teaching you how to get what you want. Because what you want is to feel love and joy and happiness all the time. And so if you can get that from within, you then can share it.
Life is a mystery, but you can reduce it to a problem. And once you make a mystery a problem, you will be in difficulty because there can be no solution to it. A mystery remains a mystery. It is insoluble. That's why it is called a mystery. Life is not a problem, and that is one of the most basic mistakes we all go on committing. We immediately put a question mark. And if you put a question mark on a mystery, you will be searching for the answer your whole life and you will not find it, and naturally it brings great frustration. This is one of the calamities that has happened to the human mind. We make a problem out of everything. Now this should be something of immense joy to you. Don't call yourself a loner. You are using a wrong word because the very word connotes some condemnation. You are alone, and the word alone has great beauty. You are not even lonely. To be lonely means you are in need of the other. To be alone means you are utterly rooted in yourself, centered in yourself. You are enough unto yourself. You have not yet accepted this gift of God. Hence you are unnecessarily suffering. And this is my observation. Millions of people go on suffering unnecessarily. Look at it from another perspective. I am not giving you an answer. I never give any answers. I simply give you new perspectives to see new angles. Think of yourself as a born meditator who is capable of being alone, who is strong enough to be alone, who is so centered and rooted that the other is not needed at all. Yes, one can relate with the other, but it never becomes a relationship. To relate is perfectly good. Two persons who are both alone can relate. Two persons who are both alone cannot be in relationship. Relationship is the need of those who cannot be alone. Two lonely persons fall into a relationship. Two alone persons relate, communicate, commune, and yet they remain alone. Their aloneness remains uncontaminated. Their aloneness remains virgin, pure. They are like peaks, Himalayan peaks, high in the sky above the clouds. No two peaks ever meet, yet there is a kind of communion through the wind and through the wind and through the rain and through the rivers and through the sun and through the stars. Yes, there is a communion. Much dialogue goes on. They whisper to each other, but their aloneness remains absolute. They never compromise. Be like an alone peak high in the sky. Why should you hanker to belong? You are not a thing. Things belong. You say, never belonged, never been on the inside. There is no need. To be an insider in this world is to get lost. The worldly is the insider. A Buddha is bound to remain an outsider. All Buddhas are outsiders. Even if they are in the crowd, they are alone. Even if they are in the marketplace, they are not there. Even if they relate, they remain separate. There is a kind of subtle distance that is always there, and that distance is freedom. That distance is great joy. That distance is your own space. And you call yourself a loner, you must be comparing yourself with others. They are having so many relationships. They are having love affairs. They belong to each other. They are insiders. And I am a loner. Why? You must be creating anguish unnecessarily. My approach always is, whatsoever God has given to you must be a subtle necessity of your soul. Otherwise it would not have been given in the first place. Think more of aloneness. Celebrate aloneness. Celebrate your pure space, and great song will arise in your heart. And it will be a song of awareness. It will be a song of meditation. It will be a song of an alone bird calling in the distance, not calling to somebody in particular, but just calling because the heart is full and wants to call, because the cloud is full and wants to rain, because the flower is full and the petals open and the fragrance is released. Anadrets, let your aloneness become a dance if you stop creating problems for yourself. I don't see that there are real problems. The only problem is people go on creating problems. Problems are never solved, they are only dissolved. They are only dissolved. I'm giving you a perspective, a vision. Dissolve your problem. Accept it as a gift of God with great gratitude and live it, and you will be surprised. What a precious gift, and you have not even appreciated it yet. What a precious gift, and it is lying there in your heart, unappreciated. Dance your aloneness, sing your aloneness, live your aloneness. And I'm not saying don't love. In fact, only a person who is capable of being alone is capable of love. Lonely persons cannot love. Their need is so much that they cling. How can they love? Lonely persons cannot love. They can only exploit. Lonely persons pretend to love. Deep down, they want to get love. They don't have it to give. They have nothing to give. Only a person who knows how to be alone and joyous is so full of love that he can share it. He can share it with strangers, and all are strangers, remember. Your husband, your wife, your children, all are strangers. Never forget it. You don't know your husband. You don't know your husband. You don't know your wife. You don't know even your child. The child that you have carried in your womb for 9 months is a stranger. This whole life is a strange land. We come from some unknown source. Suddenly we are here, and one day suddenly we are gone, back to the original source. This is a few days' journey. Make it as joyous as possible. But we do just the opposite. We make it as miserable as possible. We put our whole energies into making it more and more miserable.